Bonelab, released in 2022, and from the moment Bonelab was announced, the hype began to build, fueled by promising gameplay teasers and trailers. Now, a year and 11,457 mostly positive reviews later, we are diving back in to see how the game holds up and if my hope for awesome mods become a reality. Going back in time, I still remember immersing myself into this game and absolutely loving the intro where you find yourself with a rope around your neck, standing in a medieval village surrounded by angry peasants, and as the swords beneath you fall, you are cast into a deep pit or dungeon. And in this space you come across skeletons that you can take down with medieval weapons, and I remember thinking to myself, this is going to be incredible. Especially impressive were the physics of the game. The way objects just didn't clip through each other was the best I have seen in any VR game. But as much as I loved the beginning, the magic somewhat disappeared as I progressed further. Bonelab, and that's what I expected, is in all its glory a physics game. And following the story, you will find yourself in diverse levels that showcase what is indeed possible in the game's environment. The early stages even teased the potential of modern creations with paintings that I hoped hinted at what could be developed. And there is one level where you start outside a mine, eventually finding yourself in a minecart with a gun in front, and that will just turn into a roller coaster. And I was like, oh man, if you give this game to modders, they will make some crazy things of this. However, still, if you complete the first level, you find yourself thrown back into the lab, facing a somewhat confusing 3-module challenge that required placing items in the correct places, a feature that remained confusing even after spending considerable time with the game. And I still can't understand why the developers didn't introduce the level The Lab after the end of the story. Now, despite its shortcomings and especially just getting yourself up on a box and getting your legs up there, oh man, the legs in this game. Well, the 6-7 hour campaign was decent. Although when I first played it, when it launched, there were no mods available, and now there are plenty, but sadly they are not what I had been hoping for. On mod.io, the most popular mod was a 7-Eleven shop, downloaded a staggering 750,000 times. But after playing it, I found it was just a simple level with not much to it. Many other mods were mainly avatars and weapon mods, including a lightsaber mod even, which, while being fun, were somewhat superficial, offering only a brief diversion. I tried to find campaign-style mods, hoping for, an experience akin to those in Half-Life Alyx, but most were extremely simplistic. Bonelab is, like I said, at its core a physics sandbox game, not designed for a deep narrative. And this sentiment was echoed in a tweet from one of the main developers, who mentioned a focus split between narrative, mods and experiments in Bonelab, with a renewed focus on narrative in their next project. And they also promised 2 years of support for Bonelab, although we have not seen much of that. And the community has voiced concerns regarding the lack of progress updates, especially concerning the SDK, a point that was highlighted before release. And recent communications have been limited to just a few "we are working on it" tweets, according to the community. Growing, of course, frustration regarding the perceived radio silence from the developers. So it seems my dream of enjoying crazy mods in Bonelab has not come to reality. And while the game excels at a sandbox experience, even with its campaign, it falls short in nurturing a modding community many had hoped it would foster. The lack of communication from the developers is, in my opinion, unprofessional, showing a disregard for a community eager for engagement and development. And as it stands, I would advise tempering expectations for future content. I appreciate the game for its physics sandbox that really amazes me still, even after playing it for a second time, similar to how one enjoys hot dogs, horseshoes and hand grenades for its gunplay, and blade and sorcery for its medieval sandbox-driven melee and magic combat. For now, I would rate this game, same as Steam, mostly positive, acknowledging its strengths while recognizing areas where it has not met expectations. So for me, Bonelab, in the end, did not age that well.